Hey guys, Newb here, and today I'm bringing you another top 10 video. This is my personal top 10 favorite 90s Nickelodeon cartoons. Now that might be a little specific, but it's because I'm planning on doing an entire 90s TV show and 90s movie and just all around 90s nostalgia series for top 10 videos. So this is just to help kick it off. Number 10 is KaBlam. KaBlam was a 30-minute show that had between 2 and 4 shorts in it. It was basically an anthology of rejected pilots for Nickelodeon that were all kind of compiled and shown off because it made a strange show that people watched. It was a little to the creepy side because these were all very low budget, but it was fun and oddly addicting at the same time. The main show on KaBlam was Action League Now, which is not exactly a cartoon, but it was an animation. And I don't know why, but Action League has been burned in my mind forever, and I'm not positive if that's an awesome thing or not, but it was enough to make it on this list. Number 9 is CatDog. CatDog is obviously the show about the half cat, half dog. It was a strange and sometimes gross show, but fun at the same time. It displays sibling rivalry really well because you have cat and dog who are polar opposites, but they have to learn to cope and adjust to each other because they're attached to each other. They have to rely on each other's trust to live, pretty much. So it has good things there, but at the same time there's these crazy shenanigans and antics. So it makes it a rather funny show. Number 8 is Rocket Power. Rocket Power is a series about 4 kids who grow up. I want to say it's going to be in like California, Florida, somewhere on the coast, but I'm not positive where it was supposed to take place. But it shows off the beach lifestyle and the boardwalk lifestyle, and also some of the extreme sports like snowboarding, skateboarding, surfing, things of that sort. And at the time, BMX and other shows like that and contests were fairly popular. So it showcases those, but also the characters on the show have a really great backstory. They're really fleshed out, and just seeing these kids interact with each other is really awesome. It shows the ups and downs of the friendships, and it's just a really, really good show, and it will occasionally, not often, but occasionally create some feels. Number 7 is Doug. Doug is a show that I know I had watched and enjoyed when I was younger, but I think I had enjoyed it a little bit more as I reached my teen years because you could relate to it a little bit more at that time. Doug Funny, the main character, of course, is a bit of a goof. he is a bit of a strange kid, but at the same time, he's pretty plain. He's a normal kid, and he's trying to survive family and school and having a crush on a girl that he goes to school with, and trying to stay out of trouble and get good grades, the normal stuff. He also has an extreme imagination that is almost his coping mechanism with any problem that he reaches in life, which is Quillman. But it is a good time, a fun show, and has some great pointers for life growing up. Number 6 is Hey Arnold. This show definitely has some feels in it. I've watched it since I was a kid and picked up on some things that I didn't realize were going on as a kid, and oh my goodness. But anyways, Hey Arnold is a really good show. It has so many characters in it, and I actually think that works to its benefit because there's so many directions that they were able to take the characters' stories that it made the show more interesting. And they do not really shy away from things like sadness and death and love and different races and things of that sort. And they're all just kind of growing up in what looks to be a suburb of Chicago. I don't actually think it's supposed to be, but that's just what it reminds me of, to give you an idea. Number 5 is Real Monsters. I don't remember a whole lot about this show, which is, I don't understand how I'm can put it this high up on my list, but at the same time I can. I just know that this show was one of my favorites growing up for whatever reason. It may have been the fact that even though I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies and stuff like that, creepy things were awesome when I was younger. And this show was so funny, and I loved Ickis. He's the little red guy, and he is adorable. And the show was weird and gross and just completely awesome and completely different than anything else that was on. Number 4 is As Told by Ginger. This show hits so many things, and it's insane. So Ginger is the main character, and she is a high school student, middle school, high school, one of those. And she is a little bit of an outcast. But she has a couple really close friends who are outcasts, and sometimes even more so than she is. And yet she can get along or talks to the popular girl in school, which usually is okay for her, except for the popular girl's friend is really mean and a bit of a jerk and all that stuff. So she has to deal with cliques and a boy she likes and a boy that likes her, and it's mostly just about social dynamics and cliques in schools and how to get around them, and if they're even really necessary, which obviously they're not, but you know what I mean. The show definitely hits a lot of really close to home points for a lot of girls that are younger, and is actually pretty good for like a guideline for girls growing up. Number 3 is Chalk Zone. This one here, I'm surprised. I have found out that a lot of my friends that are close to my age never watched this show, but I love Chalk Zone. This show is about a boy named Rudy and his friend Penny or Peggy. I don't remember. Anyways, Rudy has an extremely huge imagination, and he found this magical chalk and found out that he can create portals into his own world where he is able to manipulate his environment with said chalk, and he's able to teleport back and forth between the two worlds and go on adventures. And it's just a lot of fun because the art style is really cool, first off, and the little stories are really nice. And even better is you don't really have to see one before another to understand what's going on. I know most cartoons are like that, but this one here is definitely like that. And the characters are really cool and really nifty. If you like things like Adventure Time, you might like Chalk Zone because it's all sorts of random craziness. Number 2 is Wild Thornberries. Oh my gosh, I have so many things I could say about this, but I'm gonna limit myself. Wild Thornberries is one of my favorites. I love this show so much. This show, for a while, made it so I wanted to be a zoologist, till I realized that was going to consist of me just cleaning poop for, like, ever, until I could just go into, like, more of a researchy role. But this show is super good. I don't... Okay. So, Eliza Thornberry, Pigtail Girl. First off, she was awesome to me. She was like my role model growing up. I don't know. But she can talk to animals, and her entire family doesn't know this. And so at times it's kind of a little feely because she knows what she needs to do, but she can't tell anybody what she needs to do, and she's held back by her family sometimes, and so she's just constantly struggling with being herself since she can't tell anyone who she really is. So it's almost like a superhero complex, but not. So I think that's why I like it, because superheroes are good. Yeah. Number 1, Rugrats. Now, I might like/love Wild Thornberries, but Rugrats is where my heart is really at. I grew up with Rugrats. It was the cartoon that I watched. I liked Rugrats early on. I liked the movies. I even liked it when Kimmy came along. I even liked All Grown Up. But that wasn't until like 2001, so that doesn't count. But Rugrats, oh my gosh, this show was amazing. This show touched on so many sometimes almost adult-like subjects. I mean, it did not shy away from religion topics, depression. It talks about a lot of deep things, and at the same time you get that the cuteness of it and the imagination of it. And even though they're babies, I think a lot of them were oddly relatable characters. So the show is great. I'm sure most of you have seen it. If you have not, you need to find some way to find it, because it is so good. I have 3 honorable mentions, and that's just because these are 3 shows that I still watched as a kid or a young teenager, but they just missed the 90s cutoff, and that would be Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, and Danny Phantom. These 3 shows are all very good. Most of them are still playing on Nickelodeon today, and they all have their special little quirks about them that make them a lot of fun. So yes, there we go. Top 10 favorite Nickelodeon cartoons of the 90s. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.